Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. In today's video I'm reviewing the FiiO JH5 IEM. It's got one dynamic driver and 4 balanced armatures. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. Yes, JH5, so 5 drivers per side, 1 dynamic, 4 balanced armatures, coming in at a price somewhere between $79 and $89. It comes with this really strange little box, which is like a drawer, and it's pretty cool. Like, if you're a Lego fan, maybe you could stick Legos on there, I don't know. Fine, I guess. It's a good storage case, but it wouldn't be good for portability, obviously, but thought I'd point that out. It's pretty unique. Anyway, let's bring these IEMs in, and there they are. So, on the faceplates, or for the faceplates, we've got a zinc alloy polished surface, which is obviously a fingerprint magnet, and just a little FiiO branding there. The body of the shells is made from a clear resin, 3D printed resin that is, and yeah, they look pretty sweet. So these shells aren't hollow like a lot of IEMs. They actually are sort of solid resin, but they do have 3 separate acoustic chambers within that resin. One for each driver type, so you've got one for the dynamic driver, which does the bass, and then there is a different chamber for the 2 mid-range balanced armatures, and then there is a separate chamber again for the high range and ultra high range balanced armature drivers. The passive noise isolation is a bit above average, and the comfort is fantastic. Let's have a look at the cable, and it's there's nothing flashy about it, but it is a good quality cable. It's very nice. It handles well, no significant microphonics, no modularity there, but yeah, it's all pretty good. And you get those standard 0.78mm 2-pin connectors there, color-coded. I like that. Yeah, so decent cable. But let's get on with these and how they sound. So JH5 is pretty sensitive. It's pretty efficient IEM, so you can run these out of anything, including straight out of a smartphone. But you know, due to its low sensitivity and low impedance, I would recommend using a source with a low impedance output, dongle DAC, portable, you know, DAP, etc. Smartphones are not the best way to go, but these will work fine with that. I don't know how the background will be. There might be a bit of a noise floor, but it just depends on which phone you have, really. So the JH5 has a fun, slightly V-shaped sound signature. It's got an elevated but a good quality bass and an energetic but inoffensive treble, and that results in a dynamic and engaging sound signature. Graph, and let's talk about the bass. Sometimes an IEM gets the bass just right, and I think that's pretty much the case with the JH5 here. It's not an IO Audio Valère kind of bass. It's not that quality bass, but for the price, it is a good bass. It's got a great mix of power, tonal balance, and definition. Plenty of sub-bass rumble when you need it, and a solid dose of mid-bass slam. But it's not overdone, and nor does it intrude on the mid-range. It's not the most nimble bass out there, but it does have that good balance of weight and control. And then for the mid-range, you got a nice smooth but clear mid-range, so there's good clarity in the mid-range. The mids are slightly recessed, thus that V shape, with a neutral note weight. There is some underlying warmth coming over from the bass, but instruments and vocals sound spacious and breathy, but at the same time they still have good density. There's a conservative peak in the presence region, sort of hovering towards that 3 kHz mark, and that gives vocals some vibrance, but it doesn't cause any shoutiness in the upper mids. Now for the treble exhibits radiance and vivacity, but it remains tolerable and non-fatiguing. It is fairly precise, and it's nice and resolving, and it does a pretty good job with detail retrieval as well. It creates some good width in the soundstage, and speaking of the soundstage, it's not really expansive. It's not a very large soundstage. It's fairly average in terms of dimensions, but it does have good depth and good width, so a nice, fairly rounded, natural shape, and it does have pretty good imaging and instrument placement too. In terms of instrument separation, I would say these score pretty well. So not too bad when it comes to technical performance. Let's do a couple of comparisons. I'm going to start with the 7Hz Sonus, and don't ask me why I chose this one. I probably should have done the Truthier Hexa instead because it's such a popular model. The 7Hz Sonus here, I've just been thinking about it, I guess, and so that's why I pulled it out today. So it is a little bit cheaper. I think it's like $59, but the Sonus has a leaner note size, and that is due to having less bass and less lower mid-range presence, and the result is a less saturated but a more spacious sound. Male vocals are not as rich or powerful as they are on the JH5, and the Sonus sounds more transparent, but it's less intimate, so you feel further back, further away from the stage. Now the Sonus's treble is similarly lustrous like the JH5, but it's more forward in the mix, and that is due to the Sonus having that thinner bass and lower mid-range. So for my ears, the Sonus is a bit of an intense listen. It's grittier and it's more textured, but it's also a bit more fatiguing, whereas the JH5 is smoother and probably better suited for long listening sessions, and it's just got a bit more weight and warmth in the low frequencies. And lastly, regarding comfort and cable quality, the JH5 definitely more comfortable and by far has a better cable, because the Sonus comes with this weird ribbon. Who knows what were they thinking when they did that? Anyway, that's the Sonus. Next, we'll move on to the Simgot EA500LM. Oh, look at the magnets. So the EA500LM, I think it's about the same price, $79, $89, somewhere around there. The EA500 has similar sub-bass depth, but it's got a little less body in the mid-bass and the lower mid-range. The Simgot is more resolving, and it has a brighter overall tone or tonality than the JH5. As well as that, it's got more spacious mids, but the mids don't have as much density or solidity as they do on the JH5. Now, the EA500LM's treble is airier. Its soundstage is a little wider and larger overall, but I think the JH5 has slightly more precise imaging. And then for the non-audio related stuff, I think the JH5 gives a more stable and comfortable fit in the ears. Both IEMs come with a good stock cable. So to summarize, the FiiO JH5, look, I think this is a good IEM. It looks a little bit jagged and uneven on the graph, but you don't necessarily hear that. It sounds pretty cohesive and natural when you listen to it. So the timbre is okay. It's pretty good for something in this price range. I find it an enjoyable IEM, and I think considering the build quality, accessories, and the audio quality, it's a pretty good deal. It's a good IEM for the money. Having said that, I know there is a ton of competition in that sub $100 segment, but you know, if you go with FiiO, who doesn't like FiiO? Look, I'm still using the FiiO keyboard KB3. So yeah, it's a pretty good IEM, and I'm gonna wrap it up there. So thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Parfam Audiophile style. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button before you go. And if you want to support the channel, I've got a Patreon link down in the description. That would be hugely appreciated. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you later.